Afternoon,
And
every
big day for Greg. Greg's celebrating 74 years. Happy birthday, Gregory B. If you're tuning in, he's already got some email shout outs. That's always fun.
love it, love it.
Hey, this is our weekly program where we connect with our Crown Council members, team members, resource partners, anything that's happening live. We are just grateful to connect with our community. We have a program today with our live guests, as well as Actually, a lot of our content, Steve, is coming from the email network. Some ideas that are happening inside the Crown Council. So, questions that have been asked, topics that have been brought up that we wanted to explore deeper with some of our resource partners, as well as I guess I call it a research project, Steve. I don't know, new office ideas that hopefully we can get to. But anyway,
We
grateful
did
to be with. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to share my screen real quick. We wanted to just review quickly the crowncouncil.com website. If you are logged in, you can go to my directory and in the premium member hub, we've got some new items that I'm going to have Steve introduce and maybe talk us through the origins of these, Steve, and what these new tools are available to Crown Council members.
excellent. Thank you. So really the centerpiece of the Crown Council is creating a culture of success in your practice. So the two new resources that are the first things now listed in your premium member hub when you log in, these are uh, basically whole topics. So the first one is step by step how to create what we call a culture guide for your practice. So this is the internal rules of the road, how your team interacts, and doing that by design. So this is a step by step lessons, to dos. The end result is you will have a document we call your practice culture guide that you can use in all the different ways that you use it to have a culture by design. So this is a recommended for every Crown Council practice. It's one of the basic fundamentals that we recommend. There is coaching available for this as well. So the TOPS coaching team, which is the coaching arm of the Crown Council, can, if you'd like coaching help to take you through, you and your team through this and get it over the goal line, they're available to assist with that by request. And then the second topic after you get done with culture guide is what we call service values. So that's the second thing listed. We're referring to both of these as Culture Works. So the first one is Culture Works, your culture guide. And then the second, Culture Works, is your service values. So the culture guide is your internal rules of the road, how you treat each other. And then your service values and all the associated material with that is your service promise to your patients and how you operationalize that on a daily basis. So it walks you through some specific exercises where you'll codify your service values and service strategy for your practice, which are two of the big pillars for creating a culture of success between team members and then between the team and your patients. The end result of the second project, the service value cards, is an actual card that we'll produce for you that has all of the things that you'll design and customize for your practices on one card that becomes part of your team member uniform, if you will, that you use on a regular basis. So those are two things that, Stuart, I assume that every Crown Council practice has, they've put in place. So I refer to them often in all of our training, your culture guide, your service values card. So if that's work you haven't done, that's the go-to place. We highly recommend, if you haven't done that, or if it's been a while since you visited those two topics, dig into it, use that with your team, get them done, and get them working in your practice. They are the foundation of a culture of success. So excited to launch those. Um, and again, there's coaching service available with those as well. So if you want to, the best practices are utilizing the TOPS team on a daily basis to take things to the next level. It just drives that success deeper into the practice and gets it over the goal line. So
Nice.
um, That's an assignment. Those aren't
Mhm.
just nice things to have, but it's an assignment. Everybody needs to do it.
Very good. Yeah. And that assignment is topped off by the fact that it's right at the top. It is placed strategically. We didn't hide it in the library somewhere. And we hope that we can add more to that Culture Works program. Watch for more of those Culture Works to come as we move through them. But very good, Steve, and grateful for Madison and Steve who took the bulk of the time to create those tools. So very fun to finally see them and release them out to the membership. So
Let's do it.
let's do it. Hey, we've got our first guest to the waiting room. David's ready. Steve, as David comes in, do you want to I always get nervous about introducing him before. I want him to hear the introduction before.
Bring him on. Yeah, I want
Okay.
him here too. So,
Yeah. Okay.
so David, good day.
Good
And
day.
I'm gonna do your introduction before you get to say anything. So,
Okay.
I've known David Rao for a long time. David is the founder of Accelerated Dental Assisting Academy. I consider them to be the premier dental assisting school in the country. And they have a beautiful format for dental practices to start and run a dental assisting school in their practice. And I'll let David explain it all because that's going to be our topic today. It's a turnkey program, and David's got it dialed in. And so the real focus for this, and David, one of the things we wanted to talk about today is everybody that I talk to across the country is always interested in finding really good qualified team members. I haven't talked to anybody lately who says, I don't want any more qualified team members. I got a deep bench. I got people banging down the door to come work for me, and plenty of supply. Everybody's always looking for great supply. And so this is the whole Accelerated Dental Assisting Academy is one way to do that. And David's going to talk through how they do it. And then David, I want to talk about some things we're going to do in the fall together that are dental assisting focused as well. So welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to Crown Council Live.
Awesome. I'm happy to be here. It's going to be fun. You're always fun.
So let's start now that I've messed up the explanation. You can do your explanation of Accelerated Dental Assisting Academy and quick origin story and what you guys really do.
Yeah, it's really simple. And so we started with the need. And I think what's interesting is that a lot of educational say institutions or programs, they're focused on education. And I think that the major difference between us and a normal educational program or institution is that all we care about is serving the dentist. And so we're starting with the career in mind versus the education. And so it originated with my partner. He has 3 dental offices in Denham Springs, Louisiana. And as he was growing, he obviously had the need for his highest turnover position, which was a dental assistant. And so he purchased the curriculum. He actually was advised by a consultant. Hey, this is how you solve your problems. And so in 2011, he actually started with his own program. And he realized now, I mean, you fast forward 15 years, we currently only exclusively hire dental assistants from our program. And so 10 years ago, we said, hey, let's build a company. I'm sure other dentists want to have an in-house recruiting and hiring service that provides what they need before their graduates hit the market. And so that's how it started. And he brought me in 10 years ago to say, hey, let's scale this, let's make it a turnkey model, and let's provide this to our colleagues.
Love it.
Yeah. So,
David, one thing that happened is just for those that aren't paying attention, a couple weeks ago, one of our Crown Council members, Dr. Peter Young, asked about is anybody hosting, a school or dental assisting school? How does it work? And I don't know if you prompted him or if that was all organic, but it led to an incredible discussion about how this works, and specifically amongst Crown Council offices. Can you talk about that? Just the partnership in general. What are the mechanics of how it works?
Yeah, for sure. And I built a pretty slide deck, so there may be some things that I'll pull up. Do y'all mind if I pull up a slide deck?
Let's do it.
Because there's some visuals here that I think it's just easier to see. All right. how do I share my screen here?
There's a big, the green button down on the
Oh,
bottom.
big
Yep.
green button. There it
It says
is.
share.
Um, okay, desktop 2. Yeah, looks like there's some, may not have the option here. Let's see.
Yeah, make sure you share the right screen, David.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Can't pull it up, no big deal. Uh, so the major thing is it's a very simple model, like you said, Steve. It's turnkey. So we partner with dentists by utilizing their office and their equipment to hold our dental assisting schools during their non-operational hours, which is typically half Fridays and Saturdays has been the model. We manage all operations and cover all costs associated with the program. And so the partnership is beautiful. Our overall mission is that the dentist does nothing and that we do everything. The truth is we just need brick and mortar. And it really, there's things that when we first started, observation participation days, those types of things that the office was required to do. And like we've pulled all of those out. And so truly the only thing left is we want to provide the dentist with a hands-off turnkey approach to having an in-house recruiting and hiring system that they can select the top graduates out of before the graduates hit the market. If we weren't doing it ourselves, I'd say, hey, it's a good dream. But what we lose are, I guess, in the conversation with dentists, what we've had thousands of conversations as today, is this too good to be true? And so the answer is like, we've actually made it to where we actually run the entire thing. And so out of pocket for dentists, zero. It's just a matter of allowing us to use the facility. So very simple model.
So basically then you rent the space. So your company rents the space from the dentist. They get a check every month, a rental check, and then you do everything else. You do all the recruiting, the teaching, everything. So all they have to do is provide access to the space and a place for you to mail the check.
That's right. And so that is so how the leasing agreement works, throughout the years it's evolved. And what we found has been the most fun for both parties is as we want to grow in the market. So we have the formula designed to where like if we go into a market, we know the number of dentists, we have all the data there, the number of girls in the market that we can actually bring on. And so we know how far we can scale. So it's 3 different terms per year. So 3 courses per year. Each course has a multiple, depending on the market size, sessions per clinic. And so say we have a 10-week course and we have an AM class that's on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And then we have a PM class. Each one of those classes have 12 students. Okay. And so let's just assume in this scenario, it's spring course. We have 2 sessions and that's 24 students. We pay our partners $300 per student enrolled on class 1. And so we have a couple, actually one of our Cary location is a Crown Council member and Dr. Atkin, and he actually has 3 sessions because in that area, it's booming. We have a Raleigh location as well. And it's just like, there's just so many young women who want to do this and thousands of dentists. And so it's one of our favorite places to be. And so they hold 3 sessions. And so 300 times, what's that, 24, 36 students. And we do that 3 times a year. So the math is very easy on the lease. It's just like, as we grow and scale, we want our partners to grow and scale as well.
So in a typical dental office, if there's like classroom type instruction, you're just doing that like in the reception area. And then if you're doing stuff that's more hands-on, you're doing it in the treatment room.
So that's, I love that you brought this up because we actually about a year ago we have over 100 dental professionals, mainly dental assistants, that help us design and update our curriculum. We do it 3 or 4 times a year. And now we've converted to what we're calling our hybrid model. And so for 9 years, we got feedback. We want more time in the clinic. We want more time in the clinic. And the lecture, the memorization part was eaten up all the time. So in this past year, we pilot tested about 18 months ago what we're calling hybrid, to where we've actually incorporated AI. We have avatars that are doing the teaching at home. So it's online. Now they have to make 100% on all their work to even attend the class. What we found is that everybody's grades shot up. And now we're getting feedback that, like, you have this fear when you're going from in person to online. It's like, can they really get it? And what we found is that when the teacher would explain something in lecture that was 4 hours in the office, one kid raised their hand and knew it, and the rest of them didn't know anything. Well, now 100% of the students, they have to know their tooth numbers, they have to know their service, they have to know all this stuff. And so by rolling that out, we only need 4 hours per Saturday in clinic, and we use three operatories, and we rotate 4 students at a time. And so it's really, really efficient. So yes, you're correct, but we only need space for 12 kids, and they're in the 4 per operatory.
Nice. So it's makes use the better use of the space
for sure
by using the hybrid model. Typically, the instructors are, because you provide the instructors, and you're also getting to the local area, and
so from start to finish, the most annoying and grueling part of all of this is the state licensing part. Depending on what state.
As an educational institution, right? You have to be licensed.
Yes, you have to be licensed
as a school.
For sure. You have to be licensed. And in many states, they have to approve your curriculum, and your instructors have to be licensed by the state as well. So we take on all of that with our compliance team. We have 4 in that department alone that just crush this. And so we have to do all the licensing, then we do all the marketing, then we recruit and hire the instructors. Our guidelines versus the states, they're very credential oriented. We're very personality. And so we hire and we pay our instructors anywhere from $35 to $45 an hour. And so typically, if you have, we recruit, it's fun to start in the dental office that we're working with. And so if you have an assistant that qualifies, we love to hire from the dental practice, but we have found that is not a long-term play. They get burned out, and you still want the school. So we do have a lot of outside instructors, which, by the way, happens to be our best instructors, because it's a woman that's been there for 45 years, and now she's ready to give back. And so those are always fun. But yes, we do take on, it's opportunity for the staff to make some additional income and give back the things they've learned. And recent testimonies has been, I didn't even realize this, Steve, is that they're saying we like our dental assistants teaching, because they're learning as they go and they feel confident and more empowered. I was like, well, that's a benefit I hadn't really thought about. So there are some perks.
That best way to learn is to have to teach it.
Teach it, yeah.
And keep teaching it over and over again. Mm-hmm. So makes it work. So on the back end of this, so you give the offices you work with first right on the students. So walk us through how that typically works.
Yeah, so it's done in a couple ways. For if the office has an internal instructor, like someone who's working at their office teaching,
and it's easy.
They just watch the kids for 10 weeks. Someone can fool you in an interview, but they cannot fool you in 10 weeks of, are they on their phone? How do they speak? So you get all the soft skills. And so we personally do that at our own office, because we're like, this is a 10-week interview. And so before, we typically hire out of the class internally, class 7, class 8. So before they ever leave, we've grabbed them. So example, we have a couple friends locally. We're like, hey, just come hire from our school. And they go, are you kidding? Y'all done picked every good one out of there. We're like, well, you should host a school. But if it's not that model, say we have an outside instructor, then the outside instructor is vetted and qualified after we've done our rounds by the dental team. And so there's already a relationship there. So then they form a relationship, and there's check-ins on, hey, who would you recommend? And so it's very, very simple. It comes through the instructor who's been with the children. I'm calling them children. With the students.
Kids.
They're not kids. I'm just getting older,
I
guess.
So maybe just real quick, David, you can run through the states in which you're currently licensed. Maybe that list is too long, but if there's a place where they can reference that.
Yeah, Steve, I put all this really simple and visual on the slide deck. I'll just send this over to you, and if you want to send it out, but it has the states listed.
Okay.
So I'll run through them. It may take me like there's 23, so I'll just say them real
A half, right?
quick. Yeah. So
Happens.
Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Nevada, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, Virginia, Washington, and Wisconsin. So that is where we're currently licensed. We've actually just completed a market research. It took us 12 months to do this with attaching every zip code to a market. We've ran it against the 100 locations that we currently have. And we found like, hey, we know we can win in these types of markets. And so we've identified these in every one of these states. And so for those that are interested in moving forward, we can give some really quick responses on like, hey, we can crush it here, or this may be difficult. So we can have a lot of honest, open conversations about that.
Got it. And some states are more difficult than others to get licensed in. I realize that. That's the heavy thing you guys do.
Hey, if you live in Alabama, we can start tomorrow. If you live in
Rhode
Florida,
Island?
if you live in Florida, it's an 18-month process. And it's like,
Wow.
y'all, we have 3 schools already. Just it's the same thing. And they're like 18 months. So
Wow.
if
Just
you live in
open
Florida,
location.
yeah, exactly.
Got it. All right. So if someone were interested in partnering with Accelerated Dental Assisting Academy, what would be the first step?
First step is going to be just initial conversations. And I would love to say with me, I'm always open to talk, but frankly, you want to know the details of how this works. You want to spend some time with Emily, who's our director of business development. And so I can give you her cell phone and email.
Okay.
And also give you mine as well. And then it's just a matter of like hopping on a 5 to 10 minute phone call, going through the details of where we're located, where they're actually located. We can explain the market research. And then there's a partnership planning call that's about 30 minutes. And then from there, is this a win-win deal? And we move forward with gathering paperwork and going from there. So the last thing about this, Steve, I know we're kind of on the clock here, but what's very important is
no
this.
rush, David. No rush.
Okay. Like this is something that it's like I see the roadblock every time. I actually just had a conversation with the doctor, one of y'all's members last night, and it was the same question. Wait, we have a lot of priorities right now. We have our quarterly rocks. I don't know if this is something that's gonna like, do we have time for it? And I'm going, I know this seems like it's too good to be true, but all I need is about 10 documents that you can assign an office manager to give me, and then you're done. And then our team takes the next 12 months to go and do everything. So if there is an hour of time that someone is willing to go and gather occupancy permit here, here's how big the office is here, that I can turn into the state, well, then the job is done for the partner. And they're like, this is too good to be true. And I'm telling you, it's just not. It's that simple. So yeah, from next steps would be just contacting us via email or text. And we're very personal, down to earth, and we'll just have a conversation from there.
Love
you want
it.
me to provide that for you?
Yeah, why don't you do that? The website's acceleratedacademy.us, correct?
That's correct.
Yep. And then on the Crown Council website, this is you guys have your own landing page at crowncouncil.com.
Yeah, let's check this phone number, David. Is this where they should be calling, or should I adjust it?
Yeah, let's adjust that. Let's put in a direct line. Yeah, you could probably get there from that, but let's just go indirect. And so the number is 225-825-8941. And that's directly to Emily.
Okay.
Excellent.
I'll adjust that. Very good.
On a related topic, so coming up in October, we have our Total Patient Service Leadership Academy, which we do twice a year. And each time we do this, doctors, of course, are always invited, and then we rotate through different positions in the office. So in October, It is Dental Assistant Leadership Academy, and David is going to be the guest faculty and his team. And we're going to be talking about two things. One, I've asked David to share and his team to share with the dental assistants that that will be attending specific ways they've found for a dental assistant to work faster, better, easier, be more effective, and be of even more value to the team. So that's a little inside track that they'll share with everybody, as well as with the doctors, how they can do a more effective job of recruiting the best talent in their market based on what you've learned from doing that every day across the country. And if there isn't, if they happen to live in a state where you guys don't operate, then kind of some of the rules of the road of how they can do something similar in their market to increase their chances of getting really great talent. Did I hit it? Did I nail it? Did I describe that okay, David?
You crushed it. Look, the only thing I'll add to that is this. I am really excited about talking to the dental assistants because I feel like not that they're neglected, there's just not like it's not required continuing education. And so we have something prepared that we actually teach our students about professionalism and like what dentists actually want from you from a soft skill and a professional standpoint. And so I'm glad that we get to share it because I think it's going to bring a lot of value. It was designed, we called it life coaching, but it's not necessarily life coaching. And on the other side, it's yes, I want to give the dentists an opportunity to understand that to find talent, you have to be innovative. You can't just do what everybody else is doing. And it's not rocket science. You just have to do it differently. And so obviously one of those things are host a school. Okay. And for those that don't have the opportunity, we have a couple other strategies that can get very similar results. So it's going to be fun.
So that's coming up in October. You can go to totalpatientservice.com for all the enrollment information for Leadership Academy coming up. And there it is right there. And David, we're looking forward to having you with us for, I don't know very many people in the dental industry that are recruiting the volume that you are. 22, 23 states, constantly recruiting new people. And this is new blood into the industry. I mean, these are 90+% of the people that you train don't have any dental experience. And so you're doing the industry a great favor is bringing new talent into the market and the lessons learned along the way that everybody can copy. So looking forward to that, copying your genius in October. So, hey, thanks for being with us, David. Always love getting your insights. And I'm, as you know, I'm one of your biggest fans, what you guys do, and the real added benefit that a practice can get from doing good in the market by educating people, and in return, you get dibs on some of the best talent. One thing that I'll add, and you know this, but we haven't talked about, is when somebody goes through the dental assisting curriculum, doesn't necessarily mean they have to work as a dental assistant. We have a lot of Crown Council members, a lot of TOPS offices that they'll place somebody that goes through one of your schools in their front office. I mean, they know dentistry, and so they're just even that more qualified, and they're cross-trained. So if they need to hop in back, and so there's more than one opportunity in addition to just dental assisting.
That's for sure. Yeah. And just knowing that that's reality, we have two different lessons that is specifically focused on insurance and front office activities. And so they're going to have a foundation of like what's going on, and it's even practiced in clinic. So yeah, a lot of the, I think we're getting close to 60% of our students have told us they've been hired. And a lot of those are entry level starting in the front office.
Nice. Love that. Thank you, David, for being with us. Appreciate everything you do. Look forward to seeing you in October.
All right. Y'all enjoy.
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right, Steve. Well, I know we had Shuan from our next guest she was in the waiting room. I told her 11:40 from Protect It. I'm always nervous to jump over to see what they're doing if we're early. So I'll ask DJ to bring Shun in, and if she's not ready, we have some content we can do here if she's stepped away from her computer. So
Oh, good.
let's just take Steve. Maybe as we bring her in, let's talk about June and what we're gonna do with June and our thoughts here, the topics for June. You want to do that?
June is National Safety Month. So, there's a month for everything. I think every calendar day in the year has a day, but June is National Safety Month. And so we're going to dedicate a number of different programs during the month of June to office safety in a number of different areas. Everything from internet safety, cybersecurity, patient safety, team member safety. We're going to cover a lot of different bases. And so look forward to that coming up in the month of June, starting next week. Next week on the live stream, we're going to do a special program. Pam Peterson, who runs Total Patient Service, is going to share her favorite, I don't know if favorite's the right word, OSHA violations. So actually, they're not her favorite. They're the most frequently violated OSHA regulations and why you need to clean up your act.
Nice.
So they tend to be some of the most neglected and some of the most important. So make sure and tune in for that. And as well as Brent Pinnell and his team at Control Alt Protect are going to do a program on cybersecurity. And Scott Sankry, who is the founder of Protect It Dental, Scott's going to do a program on emergency preparedness. So a whole thing on how you can expect the best but prepare for the worst in terms of patient safety. And Shun works with Scott at Protect It Dental. So they are specialists in office safety and in particular, medical emergency supplies. So they've got a great solution for this, for your medical emergency supplies. And I'll let her explain this, but one of the great benefits of it is there's no membership fee that you have to pay. Their prices are some of the best in the industry. They have automatic refills, so they track your X dates on all of your supplies. You get an email notifying you of what's expiring, and they'll be sending the replacements. So basically, they do all the work for you. And again, very reasonably priced. And they're a Crown Council resource partner and a participant in the Smiles for Life campaign. So a lot of great benefits, but they've got a great system dialed in that just makes this part of the practice faster, better, easier. No stress. You don't have to worry about it. Basically, once you've signed on to their platform, they take care of the rest, and they'll keep you compliant, supplied with all current things. So that's just a quick overview. So Shun's going to share a little bit about that, as well as next month they'll be doing a special patient emergency preparedness, basically a course, but a summary and reminder for everybody of all the things you need to do to make sure that you're ready to keep your patients safe in the event of an emergency. So
very good.
All great resources, and a lot more in addition to that next month in June for National Safety Month.
National Safety Month. What a month. I had no idea. So very excited. Hey, so Shun's not in our waiting room, but she's coming. Let's just spend 5 minutes, Steve, talking about what I thought was a really fun interaction last week. So the Crown Council email network is one of our oldest benefits of membership, the mastermind of the group, talking to each other, solving problems, sharing challenges and things that have worked in the past. And Dr. Marcus Stones sent out a message that just said, hey, I am opening a new practice and I want new office advice. So if you were going to open a brand new practice, what would you do? What would you not do? And the email network came alive with suggestions and topics and people. Some of these responses must have taken 30 or 40 minutes to write. As I was copying and pasting these into a document, the document itself is very big. So you can only see the document here. I'm going to scroll just so you can get a glimpse of how much was shared.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. And me and Steve, we don't want to go through all of these, but I think more importantly, I wanted to show the power of the mastermind, the power of the community, and how willing everyone was to share the things that have maybe haven't worked in the past, the things that have worked in the past. It was fun to see some of these things come through, and I'm going to share this document on the Crown Council website. But Steve, did anything stand out to you from that conversation that was going back and forth?
Yes. And the biggest thing that stood out was contrasting opinions. So let's take nitrous. Some say a central system is the way to go. Others say portable is the way to go. So a lot of these are just personal preference and what you find the best based on your experience. So but I think there's also some additional things that, like the sink idea, having a sink on the assistant side, a second, having two instead of just one. Stu, I'll tell you one that I'll just insert in here that I didn't see.
Okay.
And this is from a safety risk management standpoint. Of all the businesses that are out there, dentistry probably has more water piping fixtures than maybe any other business that exists. Every treatment room has water connections, the whole thing. So water leakage, damage, water breaks, high risk. So one of my late friends, Larry Minnis, who is a contractor here in Dallas and specialized in dental practices, one of the things that I loved that he built into every practice was a central water shutoff. And this is like one of my gotta do this. But he would install a central water shutoff so that every night when you go through your closing checklist, one of them is turn off the water. And it's just one central water. So you hit one button and it cuts off the water to the office when you're not there in the unlikely event of a freeze or a break or something when you're not there. It minimizes potential water damage. So that, in addition to the water filtration and all the other things that were suggested here, is one of the things that I always ask when I go to an office. Do you have a central water shutoff? So that's one of my favorites. One of the things, and this personal preference for me, is when you build an office, the first consideration is productive space. So the only place you make money in a dental office is in a treatment room. So maximizing productivity space, and really having other space that is comfortable for, a lunchroom or break room, maybe a consult room, although depending on the type of practice you have, the most effective place to do presentations is in the actual treatment room, not moving them to a different space. As far as the doctor having, a personal office, I would say minimize that space and keep the doctor in the treatment room. So one of my favorite things, Stuart, this is years ago, the late Dr. Wick Alexander, who was one of the most notable orthodontists in the world, created his own bracket system, the whole deal. Wick practiced here in Arlington, Texas, and has just this amazing legacy. When I first went into his office years ago, one of the things that cracked me up, but I loved it, he had a phone booth.
Yeah.
Phone booth. You don't see phone booths anymore,
No.
but he actually had a phone booth that was right off his, he's an orthodontist, so his treatment bay area, but it was a phone booth where he could shut the door, take a call, and then step right back out into the ortho bay to work. So he used that more than he did his office. He did have an office, but he didn't like to go into his office because he didn't make any money in his office. So it was just a way to make efficient use of his time, to be able to have a private little cubicle to step in, take a call outside of the earshot of patients, and then step right back out into the work area. So I love that idea. I haven't seen that anywhere else, but I love that little secret that I picked up from Wick years ago.
Smart.
Anyway, so this document's just filled with different experience from different practices, what they like, preferences. So Great to review, even if you're not building an office, but as you envision where you want to take your practice in the future and what you want to have, assets you want to have in there, it's got some great suggestions.
Fun. And I love, Steve, we've talked about how can we organically create discussions on the email network. It was fun to see the community come together and share something like this. So keep it up. Great work. All right, let's let in Protected Dental. I think they're waiting for us, 11:40. DJ says someone's in the waiting room. So here, here comes Jamie. Yeah, Jamie Murphy. And I know that Steve was just talking about, we're going to do a more formal presentation with Protected later on in the month. We'll use this today as a bit of an introduction and talk about their background and what created Protected. But we'll see who's on here. I don't know if Scott's going to join us or Shuan's going to join us, or they're in. Oh, okay. Their camera and microphone are off. Jamie, we can't talk forever on the live stream if you don't turn here. Steve, sometimes we do the recorded show, recorded segments, and although they're not quite as fun because of stuff like this. Hey, Jamie, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? So I had it set to not mute and not camera off. And then when I came on, it was automatically on. So I'm so sorry. Thanks for being patient.
Don't be sorry.
Great to have you with us.
It livens up the live show, so it's all good.
And there's Shuan. Hello, Shuan.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Excellent. So before you got on, I gave everybody just a quick intro to Protected Dental and what you guys do and what makes you unique. I did share that June is National Safety Month.
Yes.
That you guys are going to do a special program in June on emergency preparedness. So we're very much looking forward to that. That class really is going to be a webinar that we'll do in June. So what we wanted to do today is really understand Protected, how it works, what makes it different from the other alternatives for emergency medical supplies in the office, and how you guys are all set up. So stage is yours. Tell us about the company and how you guys are set up.
Hey, great. Well, I'm just going to introduce myself. My background here is in customer service, operations, and team leadership. I've spent my career building systems that support the people delivering the care and the people receiving it. What led me to join Protected Dental was the opportunity to be part of something that I felt that really matters. It wasn't a company that was just selling products. It was solving real high stakes problems for dental practices. What drew me in was helping dental teams feel confident, prepared for medical emergencies without adding anything more to their already full plates. I knew I could bring value by creating processes that make compliance and emergency readiness simple, efficient, and reliable. And at the end of the day, I believe in, protecting people, and I love building relationships with our customers, helping them feel supported, and making sure that, here at Protected Dental, we have their back.
Excellent. All right. So maybe you can walk us through, this is an area, emergency medical supplies is not something very many people think about until they have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
true.
Not until you have a patient who has an allergic reaction that you go running to find the EpiPen, and let's hope it's not expired. And, you rush to find it. And that's the reality kicks in of, man, are we really prepared? So walk us through what you all do for dental practices to keep everything up to date so that I have the peace of mind of knowing I always have what I need.
So, I will start with just saying a lot of people don't think of these things, right? We have enough to do as clinicians. I'm also a hygienist, so I've been doing that for 20 plus years, being in clinical dentistry. We don't have time to do all of the administrative stuff and patient care really effectively and really efficiently. And so at Protected Dental, what I love is that even though I'm the hygienist doing all of the things in the office that I do, there's a portal that I can look at that is showing me everything that I have, everything that has the expiration dates, and someone else that I can trust is managing that information and that supply for me. So it's automatically sending an email saying, hey, your EpiPen's going to expire June 1st, and you'll have a new one in your office. a few weeks before. And so it really gives you that peace of mind that you're going to have that. In fact, I had someone call me after we'd done a training. They had never had an emergency in their office before, ever. And so they felt like, do we really need this? They were kind of questioning whether or not they needed it. And a few weeks later, they had someone who had an allergic reaction to fluoride. Now, fluoride is something we do pretty often in the office. There's a lot less allergens in our products these days, but they had changed products. And this patient had been a patient of record for over 10 years. And for whatever reason, had an allergic reaction to that fluoride varnish. And thank God they had their EpiPen ready to go and were able to treat that patient appropriately. But not only did they have the supply they needed, they had an office training that allowed them to be seamless in their care for that patient. There's a lot to think about when there's somebody's life on the line. And really, that's our goal, right? Sometimes it's a patient in the office. But what happens if somebody in your office is diabetic and has a hypoglycemic issue? How are we going to treat the people who we are working with every day? Or God forbid, our doctor has an issue, a heart attack, something like that. How are we making sure we have life-saving measures as far as equipment, medications, and the proper training to do the things we need to do? And also having a written display of that people can reference and look at whenever they need to. What if somebody comes in and is a temp? I mean, right, we have lots of shortages of dental professionals in the world these days. I'm sure everyone listening can agree with that. How many times we have to call somebody and say, hey, do you have a hygienist or an assistant today? Because we have a full schedule, right? And so what do those folks do to make sure they can help this practice provide that life-saving care for whoever has an issue? And so we do that from start to finish. So not only do we have medications and AEDs and medical emergency equipment, such as your blood pressure cuffs, your pulse oximeters, your oxygen supplies, we also then take that next step that no one else is doing in this field as a distributor of the products, also training these offices. And so we actually do a role play with them and make sure everybody in the office is comfortable not only with the procedure, but also how do we take vitals properly? How often do we need to take them? How are we going to document this information? So all of those things are provided as a one-stop shop in a family of things with Protected Dental.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a great real world example there, Jamie. I mean, most of these examples, I don't know if we want to hear about, but it's true. I mean, no one is expecting an allergic reaction to something like fluoride.
No.
So,
Right.
great example.
I also will say that sometimes it's not even your office that you need to be prepared for. What if someone is coming from lunch and they have a delayed response to something they ingested? It's not just what's happening in our office at the time of treatment. It's what was that patient exposed to? Did they get stung by a bee coming into the office and they forgot their EpiPen at home?
Yeah.
Right? There's so many real world applications. And just a fun fact, over 150,000 emergencies happen in dental offices annually. So I know we all think it wouldn't happen in our office because we are great practices that are trying hard to prepare ourselves for every situation, to do the best in class services. But the reality is life happens. And so being prepared to make sure we can address those things is critical to our businesses, our patients' comfort with us feeling good about how we're caring for our patients, and just really practice liability and comfort in treating patients.
Smart. Maybe,
So-
oh, go ahead, Steve.
One of the biggest benefits that I mentioned is you guys track expiration dates on all the supplies, like you said, Jamie, and keep the practice posted. You ship out, auto ship. Your prices are very, very reasonable, if not the best in the industry. Talk to us a little bit about how. I'll give you an example. Here's my story. I was in a practice the other day, and knowing that I was going to talk to the two of you, and I asked them what their system was for their emergency medical supplies, and they pulled out a spreadsheet
Yeah.
they had with all the supplies,
Yeah.
their expiration dates were, and where they order each of the things from. And they said, we do this because, there's some other players in the market. Either they charge a membership fee or their prices are outrageous. So we do it ourselves to find the best pricing, the whole deal. So it's one more thing they have to keep track of. That all kind of goes away with Protect It, because you track all the X dates, you auto ship, you give them notice, auto ship. And so how does somebody get engaged with all of you? They have to start from scratch, or can they take their existing system? How does it work?
Yeah. So in the simplest terms, we provide essential, medical equipment, emergency kit. Having said that, we understand the pain points that a lot of our customers are coming to, or who aren't customers yet, asking us questions, wondering what happens. So if you're just coming on board and wanting to know, you can either, if you don't have a kit, what we can do is we can help find out which kit suits your practice the most, what works for you, what works for your practice. If you also already have a kit, what we can do is help to onboard that. We have a simple tool, a link that you can just log on to, and that allows you to onboard those medications. And from there on, then we'll manage the expiration dates, we'll manage the training in terms of letting you know what needs to be done. Everything is seamless. So the simplest way is we take the guesswork and the stress out of managing all of that stuff, because we understand, and especially I think Jamie more than anybody
Yeah.
understands where we're coming from, or where practices are coming from with having to manage all of those things. And in an emergency situation, we've taken that off your plate. We've managed that for you. You onboard the meds if that's what you choose to do. There are no contracts. We will manage the auto replenishment program for you and let you know when your items are expiring. If you need anything that's outside of that realm, we will help you find it. We have AEDs that will help with sudden cardiac arrest. There are so many ways to do that. And once you're onboarded with us, we manage that for you. We take that, like I said, we focus on taking the stress out of your practice so that you can basically focus on your patients, knowing that you're covered by us if something goes wrong.
Love
And a
it.
couple of really important parts of that are going to be how long is the shelf life of these medications. So
Yeah.
I've seen people, to your point, Stephen, that are doing this on their own because there is a fee for a lot of these other groups that are doing something similar to what we're doing. They have to pay a fee, they have to sign a contract. And by the way, it's a pain in the butt to get out of those contracts, right? You have to like give your firstborn in order to get out of it, And so it's really, really challenging and no one has time for that. And so what I will also say in terms of saving money, it's not just saving money on the products. We do have the best prices, but we also are saving the time that you'll be paying a staff member to do all of that work. Nobody has time to have their clinical staff or even their front desk doing those things. They're doing patient care. They're creating treatment plans, right? We want them to be talking to the patients about getting care done in the office, not about, hey, is my EpiPen expired? Help me out with this, right? And so we guarantee that the shelf life is a minimum of 12 months. And nowhere else that I have seen in all of my research have I seen anyone who's guaranteeing an expiration date. And that has a lot to do with supply and demand. And we've just really perfected that in a way that has been so beneficial to so many customers across the country. And like Shun said, it's a one-stop shop. So we have everything available to them. So if there's something aside from their medications they need, maybe they need pads or batteries for their AED, we're going to have a lot of information on the backside of that, of supply and demand issues for them as well. So again, that time is not going to be spent with a staff member searching out that information. Rather, we're going to take that pain point off of them and make sure they have what they need to focus on their care.
All right, Stu, why don't we, if you'll pull up their landing page on crowncouncil.com, in addition to being a Crown Council resource partner, Protected Dental is also a contributor to the Smiles for Life campaign.
So excited for this. Yeah.
We are. We're so excited. We're so happy to partner with you guys.
And as part of that, my understanding is anybody that signs on with you that needs it, you'll send them the actual kit, not with all the contents, but the actual container itself for free. Is that right?
So right now, what we're doing is that anybody that onboards their current supply of the 7 required medications to our portal, we will send them a free kit. That way our kit is very easy to use. It's not in a box. It's got special, each place has a place, it's a place for you to put your medications. So it's not, where's my EpiPen or how can I find my albuterol pen? It's easy to see. So yes, if you are onboarding a kit, we will send you a kit. We are also donating $100 if you purchase an EMK or you onboard to Smiles for Life. So we're really excited about that. And especially with June Safety Month coming up, and I think we're rolling out the end of this push. We are just thrilled to be able to partner with Crown Council and donate that for the emergency kits or the onboarding of the medications. It's a great cause and something we're delighted to participate in.
Amazing work you guys are doing. We're so excited. And just to point for the kit itself, the container. So many containers that people have in their offices are the thin red plastic ones that kind of throw in a drawer or in a cabinet somewhere. And if you've been in many dental offices, you know that there is a very high price point on space in an office. And so whenever you can maximize the space in an office, it's a great thing to do. So what I love about our kits is they're made of metal. So we actually have a magnetic bracket that you can purchase to mount your kit on and use vertical space in your office instead of putting it in a cabinet where nobody can find it, or having pieces fall and break and all of those types of issues. We're able to use that vertical space on a wall in a central space in an office and be able to grab and go with that medical emergency kit to anywhere in the office. So I suggest putting it in a central spot, and then you can go to the waiting room, or you can go to any operatory by just pulling that right off the wall and taking it with you. And to Shun's point, there's a key on the inside cover to tell you where everything is. It's labeled really effectively and efficiently. On the other side, there's foam that securely holds all of these items in place. So again, you're not going to open it and worry about things jumping out all over the place. Nobody has time for those things that are inconvenient, right? The whole goal is to make sure we're making a convenient partner for you and doing what you need in your practice.
Excellent. Make it easy. All right, ladies, thank you for the introduction and the explanation. We appreciate that, and looking forward to the Protect-It Dental sponsored emergency preparedness webinar we're going to do in the month of June.
Yes.
And this is such a simple solution that everybody you guys make it really, really easy. So sign on with Protect-It Dental. And you can take all of your existing things and get on with them, and they'll start managing the whole emergency supplies for you for free.
That's right.
And if you haven't gotten a kit yet, we do have the ability to choose with you. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to walk through that with anybody clinically about what you do need and why. So please feel free to give me a call, send me an email. Happy to help.
Yes, and of course we have chat, email, phone call all week long. So any questions, if you can't reach Jamie on our side, we'll be able to assist with that. And again, with June Safety Month coming up, we are thrilled to be partnering with Crown Council and donating to the Smiles for Life. So we look forward to working with you guys and hoping to make your lives easier. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Look forward, and we'll see you in June for
See you in June.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I don't know, Steve, if there's one item in the Crown Council safety bin in the back that is not expired, to be honest.
I guess we're the first ones that need to sign up.
Maybe the Band-Aids. That's
Yes. So it's a great service, free. I don't see why everybody ought to do this. It's another no-brainer. So we've had two no-brainers today.
Yeah.
Accelerated Dental Assisting Academy, if you're in one of the states where they are able to operate, that to me is a no-brainer, and Protect-It is a no-brainer. It's like they do all the work for you, and it costs you nothing. So why wouldn't you do it? So
Hey, and I'll include all the contact information and especially the details of that Smiles for Life campaign when we send out the recording of this video and when we post it to crowncouncil.com. So everybody knows the details for getting in touch with both of these resource partners. So very good.
Hey, great to be with you today, everybody. Looking forward to next Thursday, Crown Council Live, the biggest OSHA violations. Time to get your act together. National Safety Month kicking off next week, so we're going to have some fun.
I can't wait to tease Pam about her favorite OSHA violations. That's what I'm going to say.
She's got some good ones. Yeah, she's got some good ones.
Cool. Well,
Thanks,
you,
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.